12 News at 10 starts now.
This is a sad day, but it brings back an incredible amount of good memories. Today, America and the world, in my view, lost a remarkable leader.
Tonight, the nation remembers former President Jimmy Carter. The 39th President of the United States dies today at the age of 100. Thanks for joining us for 12 News at 10. I'm Troy Hayden. The former president died in Georgia. He was surrounded by his family. 12 News journalist Gabriela Peoria is live now with Arizonans and how they are remembering the former president. Gabby.
Well, Troy, with only one term in the Oval Office from 1977 to 1981, many Americans are reflecting back on President Jimmy Carter's public service over politics, and some of that recognition is coming from right here in Arizona.
For myself and for our nation.
Jimmy Carter, the 39th President of the United States, is being remembered not only for his service to our country, but his service to humanity.
Jimmy Carter, the man, was a remarkable American for all he did and his notion of service.
Carter died Sunday afternoon at the age of 100 after more than 1 year in hospice care. As the country reflects on his life and presidency, Arizona State University Foundation professor of history Brooke Simpson points out Carter's small but noteworthy connection to Arizona.
When he ran for president for the 1976 presidential election, it was assumed he wouldn't have much of a chance. But in the end, his major opponent was another man who was not very well known, Arizona Congressman Mo Udall.
Carter's legacy touches Arizona indirectly, too, through his community service.
Probably no one has had a bigger impact on Habitat for Humanity, both nationally and internationally, than President Carter.
Carter served on the Habitat for Humanity Board of Directors from 1984 to 1987. But through 2019, Carter built, renovated, and repaired more than 4,400 homes across the world. Jason Barlow, the Central Arizona Chapter CEO, recognizes Carter's advocacy for affordable housing.
He's leaving behind a profound legacy of service, a man of deep faith, not only in his God, but in Habitat.
He was quite aged at the time that he was in Arizona, and it was not expected that he would live much longer, but he outlived everyone's expectations and all his predecessors.
Former Secretary of the Air Force Barbara Barrett reflecting back to 2017 when Carter was recognized by the Sandra Day O'Connor College of Law at Arizona State University. Carter was awarded the O'Connor Justice Prize for his work to advance rule of law and social justice in America.
What a great sense of humor he had. Sure, he was in his 90s, but he came, he had high energy, spent a lot of time, was interested in the students, and especially was very aggressive, very complimentary in his comments about Justice O'Connor and what an impact she had on him through her jurisprudence and her leadership for America.
Also at the award ceremony, Senator Mark Kelly now posting his condolences to social media platform X, writing, quote, "Always humble, President Carter showed us that public service isn't limited to elected office. He leaves a legacy not just as president, but as a great American who wore the uniform, built homes for his neighbors, and worked for human rights across the globe." And Carter was also awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. He's the only president to live to 100 years old. Troy?
Quite a legacy. Gabriela, thank you for that. Developing right now, police are looking for a man who stabbed another man, leaving him seriously hurt near downtown Phoenix. It happened about 8 o'clock tonight near 7th Avenue in Osborne, and you can see there's a big police presence out there, and they had a big area of this commercial area roped off. And Safeway parking lot is what it was. Police have not released a suspect's description or the name of that victim. We'll stay on top of this for you. The Maricopa County Sheriff's Office is investigating a murder that happened in Whitman. That's in the far Northwest Valley. MCSO telling us it happened near 211th Avenue and Bradley Road. Right now, not a lot of details about this homicide, but you can see it's a rural area. So tonight we're staying in contact with the Sheriff's Office, trying to learn the name of the victim and if they're looking for a suspect. Teenagers rushed to the hospital after being shot in what police say was a gunfight that happened between two different drivers of two different cars. So it happened early this morning near Union Hills Drive and 12th Street. You can see those windows were shot out. Police tell us when they got to the scene, they found multiple teenagers and one of them had been hit by a bullet. The teen was taken to the hospital but is expected to survive. No word on arrests or what started that gun battle. Tonight, the Arizona State Sun Devils are getting ready to face off against the Texas Longhorns. It's going to be one of the biggest games in the school's history. The quarterfinals of the college football playoff in Atlanta. 12 News sports journalist Cameron Cox following the team with a big preview tonight. Cam.
Hey, Troy, what's going on? Welcome inside the College Football Hall of Fame. All right, I'm just going to get this out of the way because it's crazy to stand so close to it. Look at that. That's what everybody is fighting for, the national championship trophy, and it's hard to believe. ASU 3 wins away from bringing that thing home to Tempe. It'll be a tough road. They'll have to pull off some major upsets. But wouldn't that be cool? It's great being inside this place. Of course, the Devils, one of 8 teams left in the college football playoff. Then on New Year's Day, with the entire nation watching, they have a chance to bring that home to Tempe. It is Texas at ASU in the Peach Bowl College Football Playoffs quarterfinals. Full day of travel for the Sun Devils and the Longhorns, both arriving in Atlanta. The Devils getting to their team hotel around 7:30 local time. They are hungry. They are confident. Yes, they are underdogs again, but what's new? They've been underdogs all season.
I feel like that's kind of the gas that we use to, play in these types of games, and I feel like that's kind of what fueled us all year.
I think the doubt that people give to us for free is extremely, motivating to everybody.
We're being doubted by the whole world. So it's like, we feel like, they got to strap up just like we do. January 1st, it's going to be a war. I know that.
It's happened all year. So, maybe they're sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Here's the schedule for the rest of the week. Media Day, Monday morning from the College Football Hall of Fame. We actually got a tour of this place early on. It's unreal. Has its own tribute section to Pat Tillman. Plus, we think we found Mark Curtis or Troy's first computer from back in the day. And I hear this thing still works. The Devils will practice at Georgia Tech Monday afternoon. Both head coaches will speak to the media Tuesday morning. Then that's it. Kickoff Wednesday morning at 11 a.m. The winner is moving on to the semifinals of the College Football Playoff. In Atlanta with the Sun Devils, Cameron Cox, 12 Sports.
Very exciting, Cam. Thank you for that. Now, the Northwest Valley is exploding. Tens of thousands of new homes are being built there, and they're following the jobs created by a brand new booming technology corridor being established in North Phoenix and North Peoria. And let's look at it. No gentle way to put this. That's a lot of new toilets, a lot of sinks, a lot of new sewage. The city of Peoria is working to stay ahead of all of it with a brand new expansion of their Beardsley water treatment facility. And how they turn this water from raw sewage to something you can use to water a park and more is an interesting process. Let's check it out. And you say this is probably the stinkiest building?
Yeah, this will be the stinkiest.
All right.
Yeah. Woo. Yeah.
So what is this we're smelling?
What we're smelling is a hydrogen sulfide. So it's essentially what you would normally see in any wastewater system. But here, when it first comes into the plant, you're going to get that strong smell.
And what's this?
That's the essentially some of the stuff that's being screened off with the bar screens here.
That got like flushed down?
That stuff that goes down your toilet paper, other things like debris, leaves, sticks, some of the stuff that comes in. We mentioned earlier screening out some of that larger material.
And these dumpsters go to the landfill then? Or?
Those go to the landfill. That's correct. That's correct. Woo! Stinky.
And now what's this?
Yeah, this is going to remove a lot of the finer material. So coffee grounds, some of those types of things, grit, sand, some of the stuff that comes through.
These blowers, and they look huge, push air into the water?
That's correct. Into the basins, yes, into the basins. For essentially allowing the microbiology to do their thing, to remove the organic matter from the wastewater. They need oxygen.
So you're actually using small organisms to do some of this work?
That's correct.
What do they do?
They essentially eat they eat the organic matter, so they thrive on that. That's how they eat. So it's like feeding a bunch of teenagers pizza.
This is a brand new piece of equipment here at this plant. This clarifier is 70 feet wide and 30 feet deep. It holds about 500,000 gallons of water. In all, this plant can treat about 4 million gallons of water every day. That's about 400 swimming pools every single day.
So this was actually a huge structure. Yeah. It doesn't look like much above grade, but when this thing was being built, it was a massive excavation, concrete, rebar. It's a huge structure.
It's almost done, right?
Yeah, so that's the water out of the clarifier. It comes through there, it flows over the top and then goes through these filters. And then it comes out into a channel over there for the last part of the treatment process.
What can you use this water for?
So you can use this water to, you can use it to water golf courses, to water parks. You can use it for just different irrigation applications, some in industrial purposes. So like if you had an industrial user that came in, they can take this water, run it through a cleaning process, and then they can use it in an industrial process.
But this is not drinking water.
This is not drinking water. No, it's
Right.
A+ quality reclaimed water.
So after all that scrubbing, much of the reclaimed water will end up here. This is Paloma Park up in Peoria, and you can see there's a lot of desert around it. But in just a few years, that will be surrounded by brand new homes and development. So in the future, very near future, when residents flush, that water will eventually make its way to the park, to water ball fields, fill in a fishing lake, and a whole lot more.